and this is not unusual for a science classroom. What they did, though, was that they recorded all of their data using, we have a bunch of netbooks floating around the classrooms. You can see the cart there in the back, top corner. And students, instead of just collecting their data on paper and pencil, they also recorded it using a Google form into a Google spreadsheet. What that allowed all the students to do is just dump all their data in and have one location where all of the groups were gathering data so that they could all learn from each other's experiments. Not every group had to grow every crop in every soil. This allowed them to collaborate on the research. And then what they did was they used a tool in Google Docs called a Google Gadget. I'm going to pop out and show you this live. But what it allows you to do is to graph out information that you have in that spreadsheet. This is the live Google Gadget. You get there from Insert and then Gadget will come up. But what you can see here, this is the data that all the students collected. I picked a couple of the groups to show you here. And what they looked at was the height of the plant over time. You also get you get 3 variables in here. Well, actually you get several variables in here. You've got group by color, you've got height, time, the size of the dot is the number of leaves on the plant. So it allows you to look at a lot of data at one time. And I'm just going to play through. This is the lifetime of the experiment with these couple of groups highlighted, where they could compare their data to one another if they wanted to. I think you get the idea of how effective that could be. They could pop in at any point and see what's going on. So this is how they analyze the data. Rather than looking at just a big spreadsheet table here and trying to make relevance out of it and understanding out of it, they quickly turned it into a visual and were given a much more powerful way to look at raw data. Students overall, this is their feeling about the activity. They got the idea. They understand the goals of the lesson. The goals of the lesson were accomplished through this activity. And then when we asked them about, hey, what do you think of the tool itself? Did it help you? You can see, it was clear. It was easier to find out what was there. It allowed everyone to see and compare results, easy to share, edit, that collaboration piece that's going on. It's so essential in today's world for what our kids are doing and what they're going to be asked to do into the future. I'm going to show you another one that's a pretty typical type of activity that we would do in the high school level here. This is a business teacher at Maine West High School. And it's a traditional survey project. It's a business class. You're going to go out, you're going to do a survey of people, you're going to gather that data, you're going to analyze it, you're going to create a presentation, you're going to present it. Pretty typical model of things that happen in the real world, except what they did is this last sentence. Your partner for this project will be someone in another class. So she partnered up students with people from other classes that they may have never met before, that they were to do the entire product and never meet face-to-face. So it was to set up kind of like what we're doing today. I'm presenting to you guys from quite a ways away, and we're able to work together and learn from one another and engage with one another. So the idea was to create a product but never meet face-to-face. So the goals here were centered around collaboration, interpreting data, working online, analyzing that data, and creating a presentation, actually presenting it. So the first thing most of the groups did was come up with survey questions. Then here's an example of one of the surveys that was asked to other students. And then what they did was they used our Gmail system. You can embed that form directly into Gmail. They circulated it out to the kids. The kids could respond to that form directly from their email. They gathered the data back together and analyzed it. The data came back, just like it did in the other class, into a form, or from the form into a spreadsheet. and then they took that data and created a presentation, which they then individually gave to their own classes. So even though they worked together the whole way, they had to get up on an island all by themselves at the end and present. And they learned a lot from this, about this cooperation, how this works virtually like it did. And you see the things that we all experience with this. You know, communication can be difficult, but you can divide up the workload. You get more ideas there. You know, you have to keep in constant contact with each other so that you know where you're working and where you're going and how it goes. So I think it was a very positive lesson for them. Plus, they got authentic use of the tools in a real-life type of situation. So some other ways that we're using these products. We're starting to see a lot of other great activities going on in classrooms. Some of them I've highlighted here for you. We're seeing a lot of student journaling and blogging. Although Blogger is not part of the tool, students can either set up blogs using other tools that are out there. As I said, they're maintaining different online identities, or maintaining online identities using the identity that we've given them through their email. Or journaling between themselves and the teacher. Very easy to do in like a shared document or a shared Excel or a Google spreadsheet, or you know, just the email thread. The way that that Gmail keeps things in a conversation format helps that journaling, keeps that whole journal together in one bundle. So we're seeing some of that go on using these tools. As I keep saying, increased collaboration, communication. We're seeing a lot of that. We are really at the forefront of cooperative learning in this district. We're recognized across the nation here as one of the schools that uses this strategy very effectively. And these collaborative tools really lend themselves nicely to these strategies. We're really starting to dabble in the idea of online portfolios with students, as this being the spot where students can keep all of their documents and then pick certain artifacts to display and reflect upon and share. You may have also seen that Google Apps allows all of each person you create an account for gets a gig of storage space up in the cloud. So students are able to put all kinds of things up there, whether they're images or files or any of those things. And all of those could become part of a portfolio. Other products that aren't part of Google Apps, but we're seeing a lot of use. Google Earth is another Google product. It's not part of the Google Apps suite, but we're seeing a lot of use of that using geographic information system stuff in geology and geography classes. For those of you that haven't visited the Google Lit Trips, those are very cool. They're a combination of literacy and geography, where kind of take a trip through a book and you go place to place as the story is told. They're put together by authors and teachers, and they're very, very cool. We have lots of teachers using those. Google SketchUp, we're using it along with our formal CAD drafting programs, and we used it for a science class, as you see at the bottom of the page. A couple of years ago, the big science museum in Chicago had a competition where you could submit the next exhibit that they were going to have. And one of our high school teachers at Maine West, Mr. Swistak, took his classes and used Google SketchUp to draw up how their exhibit would look and put all the pieces in it and describe it. And both of his classes were finalists for that competition. And as I continue to say, we have a lot more openness to other Web 2.0 tools with these things in place.